So welcome to NFT.NYC. It's been 3 very interesting days. A couple of great panels I've checked out so far. But today we're talking about NFTs in a slightly different way, and it's an introduction to NFTs in entertainment. Now, with me, it wouldn't go amiss if we had people that were not from the entertainment business, but in fact we do. We have some amazing names from the entertainment business. In fact, to my right now, I have Kevin, who...
Morning, everybody.
Kevin, you've been involved in a couple of films, I understand.
Yeah, I'd say so. I've been in this for a long time. Media, theater, entertainment, movies, TV, web, and now hopefully the future. And I love to do a thing where you take the technology and use it to tell stories in a very unique, new way.
So you've been involved in all sorts of things. Any projects of note that you've ever been involved with, Kevin?
The Blair Witch Project was one that I was executive produced many years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so you know the space quite a bit.
Know the space. That was the first time I think a lot of people realized you could use the internet, right? Which is, and we blended the two together, but we didn't just do it in a way that it was marketing. It was a part of the experience. It was a part of the story. People would go and see the background, the lore was all online, and the movie was a unique experience. And more importantly, it invited you to bring your friends to this movie and play a little game with them. Is it real? Is it not real? And yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And today we're going to dive into how NFTs can change this game as well. But before we do, I'd like to introduce everybody else. So Julian is newer to the game.
How's it going, everyone?
And you're doing an interesting project and using NFTs already. Can you give us a little bit of your background, Julian?
Of course. I have a background in commodity sales, but I saw the NFT market as an opportunity to kind of trailblaze a new path in the entertainment space. I saw a lack of what Hollywood was doing and kind of taking a lot away from creators and the normal traditional way of where people get funded for their projects. So I found an interest and I pursued it.
All right, we'll get into the project very shortly. But next to you is also a young man who's had a little bit of experience in the entertainment industry, Nyhl. Now, I've known Nyhl a little while, and I can say he has some of the most amazing entertainment stories I've ever heard, having been involved with the founding, with the entire cable scene. So everything from MTV, Nickelodeon, country music, television, to being called the Edison of pay-per-view, if I understand, by CAA. Now, can you just give a bit of your background?
Yes, I was of the age to get involved when cable was in the same stage technologically and also with counterpart satellite as we are now in the streaming world and blockchain. So to me, it's kind of like having Halley's Comet coming around a couple times in my life. And I am so excited now, as I have been involved over the last several years in developing a strategy to launch Technotainment, which will be a content entertainment company that homogenizes all the capabilities that we can possibly muster on the techno side, from the mobile devices moving to the 4G LTE a few years ago so we could actually do streaming, so we could reach a market of nearly 6+ billion potential users, to the web evolving to Web 3, the miracle of blockchain, and to close up, I am here and very impressed with what I see with I want my NFT.
Fantastic. Now, NFTs, these are just JPEGs, right, Kevin? It's just a JPEG, a little bunny image or an ape image or something of the sort.
Well, not the bunny. Let's not go on the bunny. It's too hard here.
Let's wait for that one.
I don't even think we've realized what NFTs are yet. This is just the beginning. These things are not that at all. They're unbelievably important things. They have smart contracts involved, and now with Rust programming, it makes that even easier. These things are going to be used by everybody. Disney's going to be using them. Stores are going to be using them. Netflix is going to be using them. They're permissions. They're open doors into new worlds. This is huge, and they're in diapers still, NFTs. They may not even be called that real soon. They might change a name because NFTs is a clunky name, right? I'm glad he likes, I want my NFT, that works, but who remembers that? Like, these kids don't even know what MTV is. So these things are huge, and they're going to change a lot. The technology behind it is stuff we've dreamed about for a long, long time, and this is world-changing, no joke.
This is something I really do agree with, and as you do say, it's going to change. We don't even. So right now we're just using them maybe as tickets here and there. We're using them as access passes. We're using them for identity.
Identity is the big one. I'm going to just jump into that. I don't want to hog the stage here, but identity is huge. Having a sovereign identity in a metaverse or in the new, let's call it, this new world we're going to be in, that's huge, and people don't realize that. Identity is where, just walk around, look at cameras, look at face recognition, there's so many things right now that if you can't have privacy in your identity in a virtual world and figure out where you share your data, where you have permissions, that's what this is doing, and it's huge, huge.
Yeah, and that identity can then be on another level where that can actually be used as a license, for example. So whereas before...
You can also have multiple identities. Yeah. Why not?
Oh,
have multiple wallets. This is, like I said, this is the opening stages. This is like getting email when, the internet started, right? And who remembers you got mail? Nobody. Nobody cares. It went on to a whole nother world. And NFTs are that. We're going into a whole nother world right now.
Now, Julian, you are going to be using NFTs to actually help support your your film project. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that's happening?
Of course. So we plan on kind of raising the funds for the animated crime drama series for the Billionaire Bunnies Club through the sales of the NFT. I feel that where we have an opportunity to bring the community into a project where they can be proud of, and the traditional way of funds where people would go into these major studios, Lionsgate, Disney, we have Warner Bros, those kind of holding about 80%, 90% of the market for all entertainers, creators everywhere. I think NFTs give people the opportunities to create their own projects, TV series, channels, and be able to bring entertainment really into NFT in a new way that we haven't seen before.
And with yours, your NFTs, are they, again, is it just a JPEG, or are you giving additional utility to what's happening behind?
So when you do purchase a Billionaire Bunnies Club bunny, you will have access to pretty much a lot of our future airdrops, our premiere, different events that our members will be holding, and really just community access, and that's really what our utility is.
Yeah, creating community is great, and that's what Web3 is all about. It's all about community. Kevin, I'm just going to go back to you for 1 second. Have you been using NFTs to create community yet, or how have you been utilizing?
Yeah,
that?
I think we look at it slightly differently. We're looking to create a user economy, and these words are all buzzwords. You've all heard them before, but the project is called Mandala. Check out enterthemandala.com, and the point of for us, it's you can offer them all these things, but that just becomes a club now, and I don't think that's the way to go. I think you have to embrace your community. They're knowledge holders. They now have access to your audience as well by joining into your audience. It's not so centralized, right? Marvel is a great example. They just keep cranking out movies and taking your money, and then they hope you buy the merch, and they just keep taking your money. They never thank you. Marvel doesn't exist without that audience. We want to reverse that. We want a new studio model, and it's a studio where the audience is the studio. They're part of it. And I want to be really careful to say, you're not investing in the project. But when you get an NFT and you get a DID, I don't know if anybody knows what a DID is, but look into them. Decentralized identifiers, huge, right? That thing is where you can now, your wallet will check in and know all kinds of things that you hold and have, but you are in charge of where KYC steps back and forth, not them. And there's a lot of things that are very important here. So once you have an identity in a community, and I'm a knowledge holder, I can start accessing, people can access me now. Not me, but like someone in the audience, right? I know a lot about a thing. I can share that with the audience, and that's decentralization, right? It's not top down, it's power to the fringe and the edge, and it's shared. There's pockets of centralization, but this is, like I said, there's a huge shift coming right here. And the audience is they're gonna revolt on the Marvel at some point. They're gonna go, we've had enough, I've spent enough money, and what do I get back? I go to Universal and I don't even get anything. Like I've been so deep into Marvel. I've spent so much money. I go to Disney and I'm going to go on the Marvel ride and I don't get any benefits or perks or anything. Like what? And it's more money you want from me? This is changing. It's changing. So yeah.
In fact, this is something that's very interesting that Nyl's doing at the moment with Technotainment. He sees this whole studio system, he sees the whole television entertainment system, and it's broke. It is broken. I mean, you just really cannot get the community for all the attention they spend and all the hours they spend engaging in the content. They're just left to pay for that. But Nyhl, you have a whole new vision of that. In fact, you don't like people paying for content they don't want.
Absolutely. But let me shout out to Kevin for a minute, because we haven't had a chance to speak, but our paths have crossed several times, but he's more of a legend, which relates to the...
Legends are dangerous, people.
And we've had conversations on the phone. I want to defer with him on this, because I think we see it the same way from the suit and the creative. But Kevin and I were very active in a conference series in Hollywood called Digital Hollywood, and nobody really knows when these great things in technology are going to break. Get ready for it. I think we were getting ready for it really, really, really early this time, and Kevin and my paths crossed because we both pretty prevalent that.
Let me add to that.
Yeah,
back
please.
when we were meeting in that, it was mostly based out of LA, but it was all over. But we were dreaming about this moment then.
Yeah.
We talked about this stuff in a very utopian way. Like, what if we could? And the code base didn't allow for it. Then blockchain appears for Bitcoin, and we went, whoa, wait, copyright, IP, community base. Like, we just went, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing now. And this is all going to explode in a way that's going to just be insane.
Also, before I get to the point here, is on Digital Hollywood, segueing a few years to here, where my associates in the audience there, Oscar Carboni, says the time is now. And we were hoping the time would be sooner there. And timing's all about monetization. And it's about putting products out there that the consumer, the user, whatever, is going to have a good value. Don't confuse them. Give them a good value and something that is they have a passion for, or we can create an excitement for. There are two movies in my history. Now, I wasn't around when Gone with the Wind was made, but I was with Ted Turner, now Time Warner, whatever, paid a fortune, I think from MGM, for a package, about $1 billion back then, of which included Gone with the Wind. That's like an iconic brand that we keep talking about. The other one, though, came along a few years later, and that was the Blair Witch Project. And it is a phenomenal story there of economics and how something could be made to have that kind of an impact on the viewer, and also be made for whatever I'm sure there was, whatever the price really was, it was done at a fraction. And it was many years when I was at Oak Media that owned On TV that we got into the movie business, that independent producers were coming into me, and I said, hey, look, if you say you've got the next Blair Witch Project, get the hell out of here. That's only happened once. It's only happened by a guy and his people that did this once. But I want to say at Digital Hollywood, I just had a conversation with Michael Casson, Media Link, and I know you know him, and he was hosting one of the seminars at Digital Hollywood. He also was the MC or whatever for CES this year. Anyway, he asked a question at the end of one of these seminars, you may have been on the panel. Is this industry that we're talking about, the future, new media, is this a circle jerk or a clusterfuck? Anyway, I'll never forget that. But here we are today, and I hope that we can work together again and do another Blair Witch project for the industry.
And that's literally what NFTs can offer, actually. They can offer many new Blair Witch projects, because the one biggest issue in getting your media out today is probably distribution. It's probably getting on the screens, getting on the movie screens, getting out there. I mean,
Well, movie screens don't exist anymore anyway.
or getting the eyeballs and the attention. And this is what Web3 is going to allow. It's going to allow us a space where creators can be paid fairly. The actual company that is helping get the eyeballs will get something out of it. And what's more is the audience will get paid for their attention. And we can offer different levels to that as well. Everything from the ad-supported level to a subscription-based thing or a ticket price. These can all now be done with NFTs.
So I know you jump in, but I have a slightly different take on that. And at Mandala, this is what we opened. So for me, you said something really important, and that is the impact that a story has. That's what's the most valuable asset, is the impact. Forget the market, forget the consumer, it's the impact you can make with an audience, right? And so Mandala is allowing, that's the point. We're trying to show that there's a community out there, and as a member of this community, you can also now reach that community. That's very, very valuable. And if you are smart, and if you are offering something that's important to that audience alongside our story, right? That's huge. That's huge. So yeah, I just don't see it. And distribution right now is changed. Let me tell you, the studios are trembling because distribution has changed, and they can't hold it anymore. So there's a big shift that's going to happen right now, and that's up to you guys to do something with it.
I'm going to piggyback off that.
Yeah.
I really think it's the tip of the iceberg right now. I think it's really still untapped. I think there's just so many more different ways people can enter the entertainment realm through digital collectibles. I think I know it enhances the users, any members, the audience, the fans. It enhances their experience times 10, rather than like Wesley was talking about, or Kevin, that Marvel, will drop movie after movie after movie, and you're watching it and it's engaging, you love it, but there is no perks, there are no access to the people behind the scenes, and you never really will get that access. So I think digital collectibles allow that.
And it's interesting how you're using the word digital collectibles, because this is, I think, something we will see transition over the next couple of years. As you mentioned, we won't be calling them NFTs anymore. These are all going to have different little names. That's just a little underlying technology. We never talk about the databases we have. We never talk about MySQL or Mongo or anything like this. And this is just the technology. We're going to be talking about their use cases. So it's our digital license. It's our collectible. It's a whole bunch of different things, which we don't even know what's coming yet.
We do not. I hope new things emerge. I'll be honest. So Blair Witch, the reason I got involved, I was working on big movies with big directors, and I thought, I'm a cineast. I'm going to go that route. But I saw this project, and the way they were talking about what they wanted to do was so different. It was somebody with a camera, which was new at that time. A little digital camera could make a blockbuster movie, and think about that for a second. That's insane, and we're 23 years past that now. Now everybody's got the ability to tell a story, but wait, I have no way to get it to everybody. Yeah, you do. And yes, it takes a little work. Yes, you have to be inventive, but more importantly, you have to tell an important story. Like I said, the reason I'm part of Mandala is because we want people to find their passion, find their vocation. We're just telling a fun story, but it embraces you to do that on your own. Find your own path to enlightenment. We're creating an enlightenment simulator. That's insane.
Yeah, storytelling really is the key here for Web3, I believe, and across all projects. I mean, a good story, a powerful community. I mean,
I'm going to go one step.
Can I add one thing real quick, which is, and I'm not trying to diss anybody or anything, because this is where we are in the space, and everybody's throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it's sticking, but I don't believe you want access to the creators. We want you to have access to the community we're building. That's the point here. If you're going to have decentralization, that is the point, right? It's not. The one thing we've really struggled with is, Discord and things like this. Like, everybody wants to talk to us, the creators. No, you do not want to talk to us. We're morons. Talk to each other. And do it nicely. Don't go in there full of FUD. Don't troll each other. Like, this is a community. Let's all be cool with each other. That's the point here.
And that was actually a point I was just going to bring up for Nyhl. Engagement, it's not just being part of it, but it's also engaging in it. And this is where, when we find the highly engaged communities, that's where we find
so
the highly
I'm going to go back
successful
to Blair
projects.
Witch for a second. The fun of Blair Witch, like I said, was telling your friend it was real, bringing them to the movie for friends and watching their reaction. And they're going, it is real. We made something fun for them to do. Not just sit in a Marvel movie and watch Thor beat the crap out of somebody and go home. Oh, that was great. That was fun. And we also, the ending of our movie left it, there was no ending. People were, I followed crowds out sometimes, and they were discussing the ending. We followed a group of 8 people into a bar once after the screening. They were arguing about the ending of the movie for an hour and a half. That's storytelling.
And the trolling, I want to go back on that. The trolling is all fun and games and everything, but realistically, the trollers will, they'll weed themselves out of Web3 eventually. They'll get exposed.
I hope so, but there's always angry people out there.
Of course, and there always will be, but they will eventually just weed themselves out of the people who are actually developing for the future.
But this is also another great thing about NFTs. If you're putting your monetary value into a community and being part and an owner, partial owner of that community, maybe not in a financial sense of the project, but being part of that community, you know what? You're not going to spend a lot of time putting financial money into something that you hate, and you're going to spend the time trolling. So that will also weed out some of that negativity in the space.
100%.
We always do find that the sort of champions rise to the top. But I just want to go back to that engagement point. The storytelling is amazing, but if it doesn't engage the audience and gets them doing all those amazing things, it's not going to do that. And Nyhl, I know you're focusing right now on a lot of engagement when it comes down to what your technotainment platform will be doing.
I'm not sure I understood what the question was.
That the new wave of media is not just telling the story, but it's giving ways for the audience to engage back.
We're on the same wavelength. I had asked Wesley if I could show a video, a news clip from CBS. Oh, sorry. A news clip from CBS in 1977 with Walter Cronkite. And I know Kevin is aware of the Cube project, Q-U-B-E, not Quibi, Q-U-I-B-I. It was a disaster. Cube.
No, I'm going to butt in there for a second. Quibi was actually right on. Wrong time.
Yep.
Look out there right now. Short content. TikTok. And Quibi could have been TikTok.
Yeah.
But you know why it didn't? It was studio driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
TikTok was user driven. Big difference.
I thought it was great too. Unfortunately, they went in the air in April of 21, I think it was, and yanked off in November. And these are the issues you have to take into account when you're starting up these corporations and how to sustain them and so forth. But Warner Communications was the first entertainment company. I think you worked for Warner.
I won't say I worked for anybody, but yes, we were around many places.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know you don't like the suits, but that's okay.
I love suits. I used to wear suits all the time. That's they look cool.
I meant in the terms of title.
What's wrong with suits?
I'm just promoting my new brand called NFTs. Works for Donald. Mine are a little narrower. Anyways, all joking.
You wear it better.
Let me.
Yeah.
No,
Just
go
quickly
ahead.
finish.
You know the story. Okay. 10 seconds. We put in boxes built by Pioneer in a test market in 1970, actually 78, for the first two-way interactive cable system. Atari was our partner, or was owned by Warner, as well as Pioneer as our partner to make the boxes. And our community were 25,000 subscribers that paid monthly to participate, but they could press a button and interact in many different ways. That was so new then. But it also gave us the opportunity to test and create what came out of it, which was Nickelodeon, MTV, pay-per-view, and everything else, which I owe dearly. But we're now in an era where you have in your hand all those capabilities. And thank you.
Okay, can I just give them one last thing? So where do you see, if your one prediction for NFTs is going to be in entertainment, where do you see it next 5 years? Julian?
What was your question?
NFTs next 5 years in entertainment, where do you see them going?
I feel there's going to be a big conversion into digital collectibles and in the next 5 years.
Kevin?
Once it's simpler and you don't have to get a wallet, you don't have to figure out all this shit that you got to do to get that stuff, it's going to explode. And like I said, they're probably not going to be called NFTs. They're going to be something else. And we're all going to go, we were in early, and that was cool.
Nyhl?
I'm into branding. I love the brand. Want to keep the name. And in Hollywood, it's going to stand for Need Funds Today.
And I personally just say one thing. They're going to be in literally everybody's phone and pocket, and we're going to be really proud to have been here today to be part of this initial conversation. Thank you very much, Nyhl,
you so
Julian,
much, Wesley.
Kevin.
Thank you all.
It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.